Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the Monday Night Raw review. And if you saw my post earlier, I said I was going to wait on the review and do it tomorrow, but it's already Tuesday morning here, and I was at my friend's house earlier yesterday. Spent Memorial Day over there, hung out with her, and we watched Raw. So I just got home not too long ago. Just got out of the shower. So, I was thinking I might as well do the review. So, but you all will probably see this tomorrow, later on today. But this is going to be a short Raw review because this show does not deserve a full review because Raw tonight was so fucking boring. This Raw was so bad. This is literally, to me, one of the worst Raws of the year. And, people who watched Double or Nothing, they came off of a good show that I heard in Double or Nothing to this. Now, after watching tonight's Raw, I am anticipated in watching Double or Nothing because of people saying about how good the show was, and I will get a chance to watch it, and I will review it when I get around to watching it. So, but me and my friend, we were watching Raw tonight, and we were both just bored. We were like out of it by like 9:30. So, but the first 45 minutes of the first hour, it was nothing but segment after segment after segment. By the time the first match went on in the first hour, it was probably like 8:45, 8:46, around there. Literally, I'm not shitting you. So the whole half of the first hour, up until those 45 minutes, it was just nothing but talk. Segment. That was it. And this show was only a 2-match show. Only 2 matches on this show. One of them was really good. The second match, which was the main event, was decent. Everything else on this show was fucking shit. And I'm going to include the Firefly Funhouse segment as, enjoyable also. So, but let's get on with this Raw review, this short Raw review, because I don't want to go all in depth on this show. But it was the Memorial Day edition of Raw, and it started off with Kofi Kingston in the ring. It was shown that he was limping from Dolph's attack on SmackDown. And, he comes out. Seth Rollins ends up coming out. And this was for Brock Lesnar to choose who he will cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase on, whether it be Seth Rollins or Kofi. Now we see Brock Lesnar come out. Of course, Paul Heyman ended up coming out along with him. He had the Money in the Bank briefcase. And the briefcase had speakers on the other side of the briefcase. How it says Money in the Bank on the front, and on the other side, it had speakers on the briefcase. And we just see Brock Lesnar. He comes into the ring, holding the Money in the Bank briefcase. Going his, he was doing his head like that. He was wearing his hoodie like he was a hoodlum. And he played Kofi's theme. He was, he was bumping his head to that. Then played Seth Rollins' music. He was bumping his head to that. And Paul Heyman was dancing along also. Paul Heyman was like that. And he danced too much. And so Brock had to turn off Seth's music. And Seth got so fed up at that, and he left the ring. You could tell that he was really disgusted by how this segment, turned out. Because at first when I watched this, I thought, I had a few chuckles, along with it. But then I rewatched it again. I'm like, man, this is so fucking embarrassing. This was really embarrassing. So, Paul Heyman ended up saying that Seth ended up ruining the Brock party. And, they both left. Then we see Dolph Ziggler then attacked Kofi Kingston. He ended up hitting a zigzag to Kofi on the ramp. Dolph ended up grabbing a chair. Xavier Woods ended up making the save. And they went to commercial during all this. And then after the commercial, we saw officials and Xavier, they were helping Kofi to the back. And then Dolph ended up attacking Xavier Woods. They brawled along, down ringside. Xavier ended up throwing Ziggler into the crowd. Threw a trash can at him. And then they were just brawling. Dolph ended up nailing Xavier Woods with a chair. He then choked Xavier with it. Kofi ended up limping back with his own chair. Dolph ended up bailing again. He went through the crowd. And Dolph was bleeding on his face during all this. Then we went to another break. You could tell right here that WWE was still writing tonight's Raw, just by the amount of commercials that were happening. It's like the script wasn't finalized, and there's been some talks about how the script for Raw does not get finished, maybe until like 7:30, not even like 30 minutes until the show goes on the air at 8 o'clock on USA. There's been articles about that. I would not be surprised if this was the case for Raw tonight, on Raw being so bad. So then, after the commercial, when Raw came back, Dolph came out back on stage. He was kind of promo. Let's talk about his speech. It was much like his speech from last week, where he was like, "Oh, it should have been me." And he says, "At Super Showdown, it will be." And the crowd ended up chanting for Kofi. And the crowd here tonight looked really bored. You could tell by the looks of everybody sitting on the camera side of the arena. Then we had the Usos. They were having a Memorial Day cookout. It was like everybody in catering who doesn't get used on TV were back there. And you see EC3 sitting on the chair. EC3's facial expression on that when it cut to him, he looked really fucking disgusted. In his mind, he's probably like, when the fuck am I gonna get out of this? Am I gonna leave this company? I swear. Play that clip back, and if you see EC3, you will see the disgusted face, the disgusted look on his face. So the Usos invited everybody except for the Revival. So it's really nothing much. And then you had Charlie Caruso interviewing Shane McMahon. Shane was saying that he'll beat Roman at Super Showdown. And we go to another commercial. Yes, another commercial here. And we see Shane end up kind of promo about, long history of respect between his family and, about his family and the Samoan dynasty, and how Roman didn't learn that respect, seeing as he punched out Shane's father, Vince. And then we had a match, Shane McMahon versus Lance Anoa'i, who is Roman's cousin. And this was boring. This was shit. All it was a squash match. Drew McIntyre ended up taking down Lance at ringside. There were chants from the crowd of "This is awful," and there were AEW chants. Yes, there was AEW chants for Raw tonight. So Shane ended up getting the win, triangle choke. Moving on. We had Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman. They came back out, and it was saying that it's time for Brock's decision on who he will face, either Seth Rollins or Kofi. And Seth Rollins ended up coming out. Paul Heyman had a contract. He read the contract to the referee, and he says, about the year in cash in. Brock ended up grabbing the contract, smacked it in Paul Heyman's face. About the part about having a year to cash in the briefcase. And Brock Lesnar was like, "Oh, I didn't know that." And Seth looked like, he was getting ready for the match. And Lesnar just said, "Screw you." And then he ended up leaving the ring. Of course, we had the Jobber Ninja Turtle title featured tonight, the 24/7 Championship. R-Truth and Carmella were seen running. They were running from Drake Maverick and others. But then we had Charlie Caruso. She ended up interviewing AJ Styles. He was in the trainer's room. Styles says he wanted to go out tonight, but he is injured. And so Baron Corbin ends up coming in, and he ends up taking AJ Styles' place because it was going to be a fatal four-way to determine who will face Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship at Super ShowDown. So Baron Corbin ends up replacing AJ Styles. Then we had a women's tag team match. Becky Lynch and Nikki Cross versus Peyton, Royce, and Billie Kay, the Iconics. This was a boring match. This was another boring match. And if you would say, and did you say Becky Lynch and Nikki Cross win? Ding, ding, ding. You guessed right. Becky Lynch and Nikki Cross end up getting the win. And we've seen Becky do a new finisher where it was kind of like a sort of rock bottom type move. So Becky Lynch and Nikki Cross end up getting the win. Then we went back to the cook-off. Not the cook-off, the cookout. The Usos cookout for Memorial Day. And the Revival end up coming. And they say that it was classy of the Usos to invite them. The Usos end up telling them that they didn't invite them. And the one who invited them was Naomi. And she wanted the Usos and the Revival to squash their beef. And they just end up shaking hands. I'm like, you're going to just drop, squash your beef right there? I mean, come on. Then we had Ricochet versus Cesaro. This was a good match. Really enjoyed this. I mean, even though it was a rematch from last week, last week Cesaro got the win. But this week, Ricochet ended up getting the win. He won it with a Hurricanrana to Cesaro. It was kind of like a Hurricanrana, and he landed on Cesaro's, Cesaro landed on his back. So Ricochet ended up winning the match, but it was a good Hurricanrana that Ricochet did to end the match. All in all, it was a good match. Really enjoyed it. And then we had Samoa Joe comes out saying he'll be here he'll be here next week to take back what is rightfully his, because it was announced that Rey Mysterio is injured, and Rey Mysterio will be here on Raw next week to relinquish the United States Championship due to his injury, which is a shoulder injury. Then we had the Fatal 4-Way. Baron Corbin versus The Miz, Braun Strowman, and Bobby Lashley. And this match, to me, it was boring. It was a shit match. And Baron Corbin ended up getting the win. Of course, again, WWE keeps pushing Baron Corbin. Guy's so fucking boring in the ring. And WWE just still keeps pushing him. And you want to know why the ratings are low. You want to know why these fans are chanting AEW. So there you go. Baron Corbin wins the Fatal 4-Way. And WWE announced this as a Fatal 4-Way elimination match. What elimination? There was no elimination. Only Baron Corbin won the match. He ended up pinning The Miz. Ended up hitting the end of days on The Miz. Pinned The Miz. And that was it. There was no elimination. What the fuck? It was just a regular Fatal 4-Way, but they announced it as a Fatal 4-Way elimination match. What? It's just a regular Fatal 4-Way. So Baron Corbin wins. He gets to face Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship at Super ShowDown. Great. I'm looking forward to that. No. That match is going to be fucking boring. And Seth Rollins is going to be still walking out of Super ShowDown as the Universal Champion. No way in hell they give it to Baron Corbin. Of course, then we went back to the cookout, and R-Truth shows up to say that he's not, here, and then he gets pinned by Kalisto. He gets kicked out of it. Then Carl Anderson comes and Luke Gallows. They chase R-Truth. You see Drake Maverick there. So once again, R-Truth still holds on to the 24/7 championship, the Jobber, Ninja Turtles title. Then we had the Firefly Funhouse. Bray Wyatt ended up playing the doctor. He was diagnosing Abby as a bully. Abby says, she was tired of being stuck in limbo. And that led to Bray Wyatt playing limbo. So you had these two kids hold up a limbo stick. And Bray Wyatt is doing his crab walk under the bar. The kids are looking like blank face, like, yes, that's the face that you make when you watch a boring ass Raw tonight. And Bray Wyatt at the end was like, ask us to let him in. I mean, that's what it was. I mean, it was enjoyable. Then we had Corey Graves. He came out with a new talk show segment. Yes, we need to have more talk shows now. Yeah, we have a moment of bliss. Moment of piss. Then we had, the KO show, and now the electric chair. Hopefully, this is only a one-time thing. We don't need any more talk shows. So his guest was Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn rags on fans because this gave, the fans to ask a question to Sami. Didn't really care for this. Seth Rollins came out, ended up destroying the chair, threw it out of the ring. Then we had the match. This was the main event. Seth Rollins versus Sami Zayn, which was a decent match. Wasn't bad. It was back and forth between the both of them. Seth Rollins ended up winning. He ended up hitting 2 curb stomps to Sami Zayn. He got the second curb stomp to Sami Zayn, which he went for the pin. So there you go. Seth Rollins ends up winning the match, which was decent. And Seth Rollins ended up tweaking his knee here in the match. Kept him from delivering a buckle bomb. And Sami ended up getting, a Blue Thunder bomb here in the match. But Seth Rollins came out victorious here. And that was your Monday Night Raw tonight. Like I said, 21 minutes in. Usually I would go like a full 30, 40-minute review. Tonight's show does not deserve a long review. Because this Raw was so fucking bad, like I said. This is one of the worst Raws of the year. In my opinion. So, yes, anyways, that's it for this review of tonight's Monday Night Raw. Tonight's boring edition of Monday Night Raw. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this video. And definitely give this video a thumbs up. Comment, subscribe. And until next video, which will probably be, a SmackDown review. Or another video that I might do. So, until next video, I'll see you all later.